Hey everybody, it's Gear Day. This is, I'll be honest with you, this is not a video I was looking forward to making. I've been putting it off for a little while, as most of you that have been listening to me know. I keep saying I'm going to get it together, but it's just, there's so much to lay out here. It's just amazing that we all carry this through the trip. So I'm going to start this out. I'm down in my basement. I'm trying to take up some space down here because the wife is trying to decorate for Christmas, and I really do want to see those decorations up. Christmas is my time of year. So anyways, we're going to go through the big three, and we're going to talk about my pack and how I've modified it. We're going to be talking about my tent system, and I'll try and get you a snapshot of my tent fully up here. And then we're also going to be talking about my sleep system, okay? All of them have been kind of modified from stock. I don't think there's anybody out there that's carrying completely stock gear, but mine is that way. So let's start out with my Osprey Exos men's backpack. It's listed as an ultralight. It's probably one of the heavier pieces of ultralight. But as you can see, and I'll try and zoom in here just for a second here, the suspension system inside these things is crazy. There's an air gap between your back and the frame. And if you notice, those straps internally have several different adjustments on them. This is something that I labored over. I looked at the competition and looked at different things and literally made my decision the way I would recommend anybody make it. And that I went to my local outfitter store. And in my particular case, it's REI. They have a huge store here in Rochester. And what I found out once I got inside was even more amazing. Most of the people I was talking to about ultralight backpacking had already hiked the AT, and some of them had already hiked the PCT. And one of the young men in there is already a recognized vlogger from 2 years ago. He did both in 1 year. He didn't do the Triple Crown, but he did do two of them. So the thing about this pack is that it's fully adjustable in so many ways that I was kind of overwhelmed when he first showed it to me, and I had to actually spend time with it. And they actually fitted this pack to me while I was there. It's a service that the REI people pride themselves on, and especially the people that have already been out on the trail and know exactly what you're going into. So this pack, as you can see, is adjustable from the shoulder straps. And if you look over top of the shoulder straps, you can see that there are two more straps there that adjust part of the height on how it fits to the back of your upper back and your head area. You obviously don't want your pack hanging back out away from you if it doesn't have any adjustment. And that's fully adjustable up there on top. And then obviously there's the chest attachment that's adjustable, and the lower hip belts, which the hip belts incorporate back again in this year's pack, which I should say I bought this pack in late 2002. They had brought back the hip pockets, which I found during my testing were quite handy. You know, between carrying small items that you need, small items that you want, your gloves, your hat, the weather changes, a snack, you know, my phone sometimes before I got my C-tag pouch that I've got up there in the upper right-hand corner. These hip pouches are quite handy. Now, on the back, there are a series of 6 different straps that also adjust the load. So if your pack isn't full, which most ultralighters probably aren't packing a full pack, they're trying to go lightweight, you can adjust the load up, down, sideways, whichever way best suits your balance. Just because you put it in the bottom of your pack doesn't mean that's where it's going to stay in one of these Exos. You can actually adjust the load by the adjustment straps that tighten down areas of the backpack that force the load up and out. And when I was fitted for this, they asked what my target weight was that I was planning on, and I said 20 pounds. And they pulled out 2 10-pound bean bags and put them in the middle of the pack and adjusted it and had me walk around the store with it while I was shopping for other gear and while I was talking to them about what my plans are. So kudos to the people from REI, at least from my store here in upstate New York. They went all the way out to try and help me out with it. Now, that being said, the bag by itself was not exactly what I wanted. I did need other things. The upper right-hand corner, as you see it, which would be my left shoulder while I'm hiking, is a hydration system that I put together. It's a hydration bag from C-Tag, from Garage Grown Gear. You can find them on there, and if you look on the video, the description below in my videos, you'll see the exact number of the bag and the exact number of the hydration system that sits in it. The bottle, the flexible bottle that sits inside it, it's a collapsible bottle, so as you draw water out of it, it collapses up, so you're not trying to prime the straw every time, which I found was quite nice. And the reason I'm wearing that is I'm notorious for not hydrating properly. I'll be into a headache before I think to do my water because my mind is floating everywhere while I'm out there hiking. So that system, since I've put it on there, has helped me stay hydrated, and I really like it. A couple of you people might have seen the original person that I got the idea from, Taylor, the New Hampshire hiker. I saw her system and just literally fell in love with it, and hence that's why it's on my pack. It hangs well from the included straps that are on the backpack straps, and I like the way it's positioned. I don't have to reach for it. I can just kind of like turn my head and grab my straw and drink. Now, on the left-hand side, which would be my right-hand side while I'm walking, I've got my Garmin InReach Mini 2, which I absolutely love. I built my own database for that, as most people do. Hanging just below that is my C-Tag bag for my phone, which my phone is going to house my Far Out app. I do have my app on there, and I have been looking at it, and I think it's a really great app. Communicating with other hikers, seeing what your next stop is. It's so detailed that you literally know where your next crossroad, your next water stop, your next campsite, everything, the elevation. And one of the nice things that I did find, one of the other hikers from last year, one of the Thru hikers, was that they were able to snapshot the side profile of their daily travel and drop it at the end of their video, so you could see the distance they covered and the altitude that they changed up and down. And I also caught Joe from Hiking with the Codgers on the PCT this year using it and showing his, coming quite handy. Now, you can also see my spoon hanging from there, folks. That's not where it's going to hang while I'm on the trip. Just happened to be a convenient spot. It was in my way while I was gathering my gear together here, and that's where it's hanging. But that will go with my cook stove, which you can see in the lower right-hand corner. It doesn't fit inside, so I'll probably put it with my food as I go along. Now, just to the left of it there is my tent, all folded up and ready to go. It's a Flash Air 2 from REI. I can hear you moaning now. Why didn't he go with something else? Why didn't he go with, Big Agnes or something like that? And quite honestly, this was one of my first major purchases along with my pack. And I did look at the Big Agnes Copper 2. It is a gorgeous tent. It has a gorgeous price tag of a little over $500. And REI was having their annual sale when I went in. And I also had a 20% off coupon, which helped out. But I was able to pick up their Flash Air 2, which is a single layer tent. This doesn't have an overlay to it, and it's self-supporting. As you can see, my poles over in the far right-hand side there, those are my uprights. It does come with uprights, but I've chosen to go without them. Okay, I believe the finished weight on that, as it's put up on the ground, is 1.2 pounds. I don't think you can go much lighter than that. And yes, I can hear all the moaning about. It's a single layer tent. Oh my goodness, condensation. You're right. And it was a big fear that I had because I had read up on that. And the people from REI showed me the new vents that have been installed at the tops of the left and right-hand peaks. As you know, a two-man tent usually comes with two vestibules, and this one is the same way. I have two sets of screens, two sets of vestibule doors, and two vestibules that are held up with the cords and the stakes that go with it. And at the top of those are adjustable air vents. Now, common sense has to come into play. You're not going to camp next to a lake and think you're going to get away with it without any condensation. You're not going to camp next to a stream. But if you pick your spots right and you stay away from where, the water tends to just hang in the air, you can get away with a condensation-free two-man, one-layer tent, okay? My Tyvek, as you can see, is laying just next to it. That was compliments of a local contractor around the area. He does not know that. He suffered massive losses one night during a windstorm last fall, and two of the houses that he had up had Tyvek wrapped on them, and most of it ended up down the street in one of my buddy's front yards. And as he was throwing it out, I went, wait, let me see that. And there was nothing wrong with it other than that there were a couple of staple holes where the wind pulled it off. And duct tape is a great thing in this world, racer tape as some people call it. So I have both a piece of Tyvek big enough for my footprint for underneath my tent, and if you happen to notice, right next to my Neo Air mattress is another piece that came along from a friend who was Tyvecking an addition onto his shed and had this left over and donated it for my trip. So I guess that leads us over to my sleep system. Now, everybody knows that I've been sleeping out in my shed testing it because it resembles one of the shelters on the AT so much that it literally caught my eye in the middle of one of my videos that I was making about foot care and footwear, and you can check that out. But I realized that with the doors open, it resembled the AT shelters, so that's where I started doing my testing. The last time out, it was lower 40s. I think the temperature when I woke up that morning was 42 degrees. It's not really that cold, but it's a good representation to give you an idea of what's going on and what you're doing there. So let's start out with the bag. That bag is a Mummy from REI. That's the Magma 15 degree bag. Let's remember that that's a comfort zone. You're gonna survive at that. You're not gonna be maybe comfortable like you would in your own home bed, but with a 15 degree bag, you will be sleepable. Add on top of that, I did decide to put a Sea to Summit thermal reactor there as a liner for my bag, and then the Thermalite XL air pad for underneath it. Now that model year, I will, and again, I started accumulating my gear about 1.5 to 2 years ago when this plan all hatched together, and that is the older version of the Thermo Air. It's the one that they claim is quite crinkly, which I didn't find it to be that crinkly. But there is a new one out that's less crinkly, and I haven't seen that. I haven't seen anybody talk about it. At the end of a 15 to 20 mile day hiking, I don't think I'm going to be worried about my air mattress crinkling. So I'm going to stick with that. I'm going to stay with that. Now, that's my big three. There's some other things in here. I want to start individually pulling them out and talking about them on a separate deal. This video is already going long at 12 to 13 minutes, and I wanted to try and keep them around that. And one other thing I'll note, in the view there, upper left-hand corner, just over top of my tent, that blue bag, that's an IKEA bag. I'm planning on getting to the trailhead with a flight early in the morning. I'll be leaving out at 6 a.m. And as everybody can imagine, if you were to just toss your pack up on there with a name tag on it, what could happen to that poor kid going through a luggage transportation system and all of your valuables that are hanging out on it? So I was talking with somebody about that, and they said that they were using these IKEA storage bags because they snap shut, zip shut, and then you can also tape them shut if you want to. And I thought, okay, on the way down, that's going to be wonderful. That'll get me to Atlanta. I'm being picked up in Katahdin. My wife is going to drive out and meet me. We're going to spend a couple of days out in the area just doing some small hiking after the trail's over with. And I thought, well, what am I going to do with the bag? Well, when I get to Atlanta, there's going to be people that are in Atlanta looking to go home. There's going to be people that might want that bag. If I see another thru hiker that's finishing up his hike and he's walking into the airport, I'm planning on donating that bag. If I can't find anybody at that point, well, that's going to go to the Amicalola Falls Visitor Center, and I'm going to leave it with them to give to someone later on when the Sobos start coming in, and give them a bag to throw in, so they can throw their stuff up into an airplane hold and not have to worry about what condition it's going to come out the other end at. So with that, hey, thanks for listening. Do me a favor, hit subscribe. Hit the thumbs up. Give me a like on the video. I'm just finding out about algorithms on my videos. That wasn't the main point of my hike, but this seems to be a growing area. I'm getting a lot of contacts. I'm getting a lot of email. I'm getting a ton of support and thumbs up for what I'm doing at my age, or they're just going out. And I don't think my age has much to do with it. I think there's a lot of people that I'm talking to that are contacting me on my announcement page, indicating they're 65, they're 70, they're 72, and they're going out for their first hike, or they're launching in another year, or they're launching in 2 years. They're at the planning stage where I was 2 years ago. Well, thumbs up to you guys. But But like I said, subscribe to the channel if you're looking at this. There's several other videos, and I'm going to be vlogging every day while I'm out there, you know, where it's possible. I mean, if I'm caught underwater, probably not going to happen. But anyways, you guys all have a good day. Thank you for your support, and I'll be getting the rest of my gear, my cook system, my food, my clothes, and everything else out in the next video. Thank you, and have a great day.